What happens when a brave 7-year-old, a simple lemonade stand, and a Hollywood legend cross paths? A story that will restore your faith in humanity. Emma's journey started with a small act, selling lemonade to help her parents pay for her chemotherapy treatments. But what she didn't know was that her story would touch thousands, inspire a movement, and prove that kindness, no matter how small, can change lives. When Clint Eastwood happened to stop by her stand one fateful afternoon, everything changed. His single act of generosity set off a chain reaction that would ripple far beyond their small suburban neighborhood. This is a story of resilience, hope, and the power of community. A story that reminds us that even in our darkest moments, there are people willing to stand by our side. Stay with us as we take you through the incredible journey of a little girl who turned lemons into hope and inspired a nation to do the same. In the heart of Santa Clarita, California, a courageous 7-year-old girl named Emma had already shown the world more strength than most adults. Emma wasn't like most kids her age. While they were running around and playing, Emma had spent the past year battling leukemia, a type of blood cancer that forced her to endure months of painful chemotherapy. The treatments left her physically drained, made her lose her hair, and often left her lying in a hospital bed, too weak to even sit up on her own. But through it all, Emma never lost her spark. Where others might have felt defeated, Emma found hope. She didn't see her illness as something that could control her life. Instead, she used it as fuel to inspire something greater. Emma understood that her medical bills were piling up, and while her family tried to do everything they could to help her, she wanted to take some of that burden off their shoulders. Even at such a young age, Emma knew that every little bit helped, and that's what led her to come up with an idea that would change everything. One sunny afternoon, Emma decided to do something that many children her age might not think twice about. She set up a lemonade stand outside her house. But this wasn't just any lemonade stand. Emma named it Lemonade for Hope, a fitting name for a girl whose optimism was as contagious as the sweet lemonade she was selling. She personally designed the sign, drawing colorful letters that boldly spelled out the name of her stand, a small touch that showed her creativity and pride in the cause she was supporting. The lemonade was simple, just $1 per cup. But Emma's mission was far from simple. She wasn't selling lemonade to make pocket money or have fun with her friends. She was doing it to raise money for something much more important: her chemotherapy treatments. Emma believed that even though a single dollar from one person might seem small, if enough people came together to support her, it could make a significant impact on her medical costs. And so, each day, despite feeling exhausted and weak from her treatments, Emma continued to stand by her lemonade stand, offering a smile and a word of thanks to everyone who stopped by. Her lemonade stand wasn't just a business. It was a symbol of her courage, her resilience, and her determination to fight back against the odds. For Emma, it was a way to turn a difficult situation into something positive, to prove to herself and others that no matter what life throws at you, there's always room for hope. The year that followed Emma's leukemia diagnosis was a relentless battle that tested every ounce of strength she had. From the very beginning, the treatments took a toll on her tiny body. The chemotherapy sessions were long and draining, leaving her feeling exhausted and sick. Emma had to spend more time in hospitals than she ever wanted, hooked up to machines, receiving treatments that made her feel weak and fragile. Her once full head of hair quickly fell out, a visible sign of the fierce battle she was fighting inside her body. At times, it felt as though the illness had taken control, and Emma found herself too weak to even get out of bed, let alone play with her friends. But despite all the pain and suffering, Emma refused to let her spirit be crushed. She had an inner strength that was truly remarkable for someone so young. She smiled through the worst of it, keeping a positive attitude even when things seemed hopeless. Emma's family, too, was doing everything they could to support her during these difficult times. Her parents were by her side constantly, trying to balance their own emotions while also keeping the family together. The emotional and physical toll was immense, but they carried on, finding small moments of joy where they could. However, the financial burden of Emma's treatments was another challenge altogether. The medical bills piled up faster than her family could manage, and despite all the love and support they received, the reality of the situation weighed heavily on them. That's when Emma made a decision that would change everything. She decided to take control of the situation in her own way. Instead of passively accepting the hardships that came her way, Emma chose to take action. She realized that while she may not have control over her illness, she could do something to help with the financial strain her family was facing. And that's when she came up with the idea of her lemonade stand. For Emma, this wasn't just a simple childhood venture. It was her way of contributing, of showing her family, her community, and even herself that every small act could create a ripple effect. The lemonade stand quickly became her lifeline, a tangible way to fight back against the overwhelming situation she found herself in. It was more than just a dollar for a cup business. It was a symbol of her hope and determination. Emma's strength was evident in the way she approached each day with resilience, and it didn't go unnoticed by those around her. Neighbors, friends, and family members watched in awe as Emma, even in her weakest moments, found the courage to push forward. Her attitude inspired everyone she came into contact with, and soon, her lemonade stand became more than just a fundraiser. It became a beacon of hope for the entire community. One afternoon, as Emma stood in front of her home, selling lemonade with a hopeful smile, something extraordinary happened that no one could have predicted. Clint Eastwood, the legendary actor and director known for his iconic roles in films like Dirty Harry and Unforgiven, happened to be driving through Emma's neighborhood. It wasn't just any other day. It was the day his path crossed with Emma's, and it would change her life forever. Clint was no stranger to the power of storytelling, and when he saw Emma's lemonade stand, a young girl fighting against leukemia with nothing but a smile and a cup of lemonade, he was immediately moved. He stopped his car, got out, and walked over to where Emma was standing. For a brief moment, it felt like time stood still. The legendary figure stood in front of this small lemonade stand, and Emma, still wearing her determined smile, looked up in surprise. Clint was deeply touched by Emma's story and the reason behind her lemonade stand. Without a second thought, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a check for $50,000. He handed it to Emma with a warm, encouraging smile, telling her that he hoped it would help with her treatment and bring some relief to her family. Emma, initially stunned by his unexpected generosity, didn't know how to react. She had been working so hard to raise just a few dollars for her medical expenses. But this was a whole new level of support. She stood there for a moment, speechless, her heart racing with gratitude. The check was more than just a large sum of money. It was a powerful reminder of the kindness that exists in the world. Clint Eastwood's simple yet profound gesture didn't just impact Emma. It sent ripples of inspiration through the entire community. People from all walks of life, watching this act unfold, were reminded that anyone, no matter how famous or ordinary, can make a difference in the life of another. Clint's unexpected visit demonstrated the power of generosity and compassion, encouraging others to step up and contribute in whatever way they could. Clint Eastwood's unexpected generosity didn't just change Emma's life, it ignited something far bigger than anyone could have imagined. What started as a small lemonade stand on a quiet suburban street had become the heart of a movement, a symbol of resilience and kindness that resonated far beyond the neighborhood. Word of Emma's story spread like wildfire. The postman, who had always greeted her with a warm smile, was the first to step up, slipping a $50 bill into the overflowing donation jar. "I think Clint's onto something here," he said with a grin. That simple act set off a domino effect. The local grocery store owner arrived next, carrying a case of fresh lemons and a matching donation. Neighbors who had once driven past without stopping now lined up, eager to contribute whatever they could, some offering cash, others just a word of encouragement and a heartfelt hug. By evening, the scene in front of Emma's house had transformed. Cars slowed as drivers rolled down their windows to hand over donations. A group of kids from her school gathered, proudly wearing handmade Lemonade for Hope shirts, chanting Emma's name. An elderly woman who had never met Emma before approached the stand, tears in her eyes. "My grandson battled leukemia," she said softly, pressing a check into Claire's hand. "He would have loved your spirit, sweetheart. Keep fighting." Then, the news cameras arrived. Local journalists captured the heartwarming sight: Emma, in her yellow sundress, her tiny hands clutching a plastic cup of lemonade as she smiled brightly for the cameras, unaware of just how many people were about to hear her story. Within hours, social media exploded with posts about the brave little girl selling lemonade to pay for her chemotherapy. Hashtags like #Lemonade for Hope and Emma Strong began trending. Donations poured in from across the country. Strangers from different states, people Emma would never meet, sent money, letters, and words of encouragement. A little boy from Kansas mailed her a crumpled $2 bill with a note. "I don't have much, but I hope this helps. You're really brave. Love, Charlie, age 8. The impact didn't stop there. A well-known lemonade brand caught wind of Emma's story and sent her a year's supply of lemonade mix, along with a handwritten letter. "Emma, your bravery reminds us of the sweetness of life. Keep inspiring the world." A nearby children's hospital reached out, offering to cover any remaining medical costs her family might face. What had begun as a simple effort by a little girl to ease her parents' financial burden had grown into something truly extraordinary. Emma's stand was no longer just about selling lemonade. It was about hope, about community, about the incredible power of kindness. And as the sun set on that unforgettable day, Emma looked up at her mother and whispered, "I think we did something really special today, didn't we?" Claire, holding back tears, hugged her daughter tightly and replied, "Yes, sweetheart. You did something amazing." As the months passed, Emma's life began to change in ways she could never have imagined. Her medical expenses were no longer a looming burden, thanks to the generosity of thousands of strangers. But the impact of her lemonade stand went far beyond just covering the cost of her treatments. Her story had sparked something much bigger, a movement of kindness and giving that continued to grow. People across the country, moved by Emma's courage, began setting up their own lemonade stands in her honor. From small towns to big cities, children and adults alike joined the effort, raising money for hospitals, cancer research, and families in need. Schools organized charity drives, businesses pledged matching donations, and social media continued to amplify Emma's mission. What started as a simple idea, a little girl selling lemonade to help her parents, had turned into a nationwide campaign for hope. At the heart of it all was Clint Eastwood, who wasn't content with just making a one-time donation. He remained in touch with Emma's family, offering advice, encouragement, and even helping them establish a charitable organization, Lemonade for Hope. The foundation's mission was clear: no child should have to choose between fighting for their life and worrying about how to pay for it. With Clint's support and the overwhelming generosity of the public, the foundation took off quickly, raising funds to assist other families facing similar battles. Emma, now more determined than ever, threw herself into the cause. Despite continuing her treatments, she spent time meeting other children with cancer, visiting hospitals, and helping organize events to raise awareness for childhood cancer. She spoke at fundraisers, sharing her journey with others and encouraging them to never lose hope. Her story wasn't just about her anymore. It was about every child fighting for their life, about proving that even in the darkest times, kindness and courage could shine through. As her foundation grew, so did her impact. She became a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope for families everywhere. And though she was still just a young girl, her voice carried farther than she ever imagined. Emma wasn't just selling lemonade anymore. She was changing lives, Even as Emma continued to battle through chemotherapy, her journey had taken on a new purpose. She was no longer just fighting for herself, she was fighting for every child facing the same uphill battle. She had become more than just a little girl with a lemonade stand. She had become a beacon of hope, not only for children battling cancer, but for anyone struggling against life's challenges. Her story was proof that even in the darkest times, there was still light to be found. The message of Lemonade for Hope had reached far and wide, touching hearts across the country. People from all walks of life, young and old, rich and poor, found inspiration in Emma's resilience. Some wrote letters, others donated, and many simply took a moment to reflect on how they could bring a little more kindness into the world. The impact of Emma's story continued to ripple outward. Hospitals and charities started adopting the Lemonade for Hope model, encouraging young patients to get involved in creative ways to raise funds and spread awareness. Teachers used Emma's journey as an example of perseverance in their classrooms, showing students that one small act of kindness could make a world of difference. Celebrities and public figures, inspired by Emma's courage, stepped forward to support childhood cancer research, amplifying her message even further. Emma's lemonade stand had never been just about selling lemonade. It was about inspiring others to take action, to spread love, and to remind the world that hope was always within reach. And through it all, Emma remained humble, never losing sight of the simple truth that had started it all, that even the smallest hands could create the biggest waves of change. Clint Eastwood's involvement in Emma's journey didn't stop with a single act of kindness. The legendary actor and filmmaker continued to be a steadfast supporter, following her progress and encouraging her every step of the way. He wrote her heartfelt letters, sent photos, and even called occasionally just to check in. Each message carried the same sentiment: pride in her strength, admiration for her determination, and a reminder that she was never alone in her fight. But Clint's support went beyond words. He used his platform to bring attention to Lemonade for Hope, ensuring that Emma's message reached as many people as possible. He connected her family with influential figures, introducing them to philanthropists and organizations that could help grow the foundation. More than just a benefactor, Clint became a mentor, offering Emma and her family guidance on how to navigate their newfound mission. When Emma was invited to speak at a major charity event, Clint was there, standing quietly in the back, watching with pride as she took the stage. As she spoke about her journey, her voice steady and full of conviction, he knew that she had become something far greater than she ever imagined. A force for change, a symbol of hope, and a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can ripple outward in ways no one could predict. For Clint, this wasn't just about a donation. It was about believing in someone and helping them see their own potential. And for Emma, his unwavering support was proof that heroes come in many forms. Not just in movies, but in real life too. Despite the whirlwind of media attention, the viral fame, and the overwhelming outpouring of support, Emma and her family never let it change who they were. At the core of everything, they remained grounded, holding on to the same values that had inspired Emma's lemonade stand in the first place: kindness, generosity, and gratitude. As invitations poured in for interviews, public appearances, and charity events, Emma's parents made sure she stayed focused on what truly mattered. She continued attending school, playing with friends, and spending time painting, one of her favorite hobbies before her diagnosis. "I just want to be a kid," she would often say, and her parents ensured that she got to do just that. But Emma also understood the power of her story. She knew that her voice could bring hope to children going through the same battle, so she embraced opportunities to speak at hospitals, charity events, and fundraising galas. At one event, when asked what kept her grounded despite all the attention, Emma smiled and simply said, "Because I remember why I started. This isn't about me. It's about helping others." Her humility became just as inspiring as her courage. She never saw herself as a celebrity, just a girl who wanted to make a difference. She continued writing thank you letters to donors, personally visiting children's hospitals, and making sure that every dollar raised for Lemonade for Hope went directly to the families who needed it most. Emma's journey wasn't just about overcoming cancer. It was about the power of gratitude, the importance of community, and the reminder that no matter how much success or recognition you achieve, staying humble and giving back is what truly matters. Years later, Emma stood on the grand stage of a major charity gala, a confident young woman whose journey had touched countless lives. The bright lights reflected off the elegant banner behind her, Lemonade for Hope, a celebration of giving. She took a deep breath, scanning the packed auditorium filled with supporters, survivors, and families who had been impacted by her foundation. Among them, sitting quietly near the back, was Clint Eastwood. Emma smiled, knowing he had always been there, watching from the sidelines, never seeking attention for himself. He had believed in her when she was just a little girl with a lemonade stand. And now, as she stood in front of hundreds, she wanted him to know just how much his kindness had shaped her journey. She stepped up to the microphone, her voice steady and full of emotion. "When I was 7 years old, I set up a lemonade stand, hoping to raise just a little bit of money to help my parents with my medical bills. I never imagined that something so small would turn into something so big. But what I learned along the way is that kindness has a way of multiplying. It doesn't matter how small the act. What matters is the heart behind it." The room was silent, every person hanging onto her words. She continued, "People always ask me how I stayed strong through everything. The truth is, I wasn't always strong. There were nights I cried, days I felt like giving up. But I never did. Because of all of you. Because of the letters, the donations, the stories of kids setting up their own lemonade stands. You reminded me that I wasn't alone. And that's what hope is. It's knowing that even in the darkest times, there are people willing to stand beside you." As she spoke, Clint Eastwood watched with a quiet pride. He had given Emma a push in the right direction, but she had done the rest. She had taken one moment of generosity and turned it into a movement. And now, as she stood on that stage, she was no longer just a little girl fighting cancer. She was a leader, an advocate, and a beacon of hope. Emma closed her speech with a simple but powerful statement. "I stand here today, not just as a survivor, but as someone who believes in the power of kindness. Because I've seen it, I've lived it, and I know that together, we can change lives, one small act at a time." The room erupted into applause, and as Emma looked out into the sea of faces, her eyes locked onto Clint's. He gave her a small nod, a silent acknowledgement of how far she had come. No words were needed. She knew what he meant. She had taken the hope he had given her and spread it further than either of them could have ever imagined. And in that moment, Emma realized something. Her journey wasn't just about beating cancer. It was about proving that no act of kindness is ever too small, and that sometimes the smallest gestures can create waves that reach farther than you ever dreamed possible.